Welcome to my art studio. This is my current painting I'm finally finished with. A little butterfly girl. Now this is how I preserve paint for my paint palettes. As you can see, this is a hot mess, but this is actually a lock and lock egg carton. It has a locking lid that goes with it and locks right on and keeps it really, really airtight. As you can see, I utilize a lot of this because I'm cheap. So what I do is I line the inside of this egg crate, egg little container, 12 dozen paint areas, with my press and seal. I open it up, I tear off enough to stretch out farther than the crate so I have enough room to squish in the press and seal. And that way I can take this whole thing out, rip it off, and I got clean underneath, and I can just put a whole new one in. And how I keep my paint fresh is come over to here. Here's my handy bottle of shungite water. I use Elite shungite water I make for my paintings for healing energy, good vibes. And I spritzer the top of my paint before I store it with the lid on to keep it extra moist. That way my palettes stay fresh and my paint will last as long as possible without getting all goopy. And as I said, it's awesome to pull these out. Now here's an example of when I had leftover extra paint in one, but I wanted to rip out the rest of the whole thing, so I just cut the one out that slid some good paint in it and stuck it right in here because I am extra frugal. Because that's just how I roll. I don't like waste. It drives me nuts. And here's some of my Elite shungite water that I use for painting. And then here's another whole fresh palette I just got ready to do. This is already lined with press and seal. And as you can see, this was actually an old meat packing tray, which I found really handy for the little wells inside of it. Were kind of neat. And this one I actually used, this palette I used for this painting because I wanted to use about 50 different shades in her skin tone, and I needed one kind of palette to kind of mix as I went doing different lighting. And then these were little laundry cups that I used too, and I just lined those up. And it really does make cleanup a breeze, because if you hate having to clean acrylics off plastics, all those palettes, it's just a nightmare, right? I mean, forever. Forget it. So that is my handy dandy trick for keeping your palette fresh and sealed and reusable for at least up to a week. It stays pretty fresh that way. It can go longer, but it will start to goop up on you. Just that's the nature of acrylics. And one thing I did want to mention also is that I use press and seal on my easel everywhere that I can, that I need to cover it up so I don't get, as you can see, all here along the sides, down here, all the way down, down, down. And that way I can rip that off and add new for each painting, and that way I don't get it all over not only my new painting on the back, but I don't get it all over my easel. And then here, as you can see, this table, I actually completely coated this table, so I can be a slob, with the press and seal too. I just love press and seal now. It's just awesome. So this is completely coated in press and seal. That way I can rip that off, and then nice and clean and pristine under there, because this is plastic, and acrylic definitely will cling to plastic like gangbusters. So let's see if there's any other hints I had here from my fellow artists. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I think that's about it. Some of the cheap, like this is a Lock and Lock brand too. The Lock and Lock brands do seem to have better sealing lids on them. This is a cheapy non-Lock and Lock brand, and it just doesn't have a good enough seal, and the little side thingies pop out. Don't like to want to stay closed as well, so I'm not real thrilled with this cheapy brand. And and one thing I wanted to say about the egg cartons that work so well too is they give you the wells, the individual wells, which is so nice when you don't want to use one big palette like that. And then you, like I said, you can like cut out a color that you might have had extra in one and then start a whole new palette with the used up after you used up all the other ones. But and the thing about this is I thought, well, I didn't know what to do with these because I bought them for eggs originally, and they made the eggs go all mildewy because they sealed the eggs off too much. So this was a really bad idea for eggs, but a great idea for paint. So there you go, folks. I hope that helps somebody out there in YouTube world. Bye for now.